Hey guys, welcome to the ArcaneCast. Again, this is our second episode. I'm here by myself this time, and hopefully soon we'll have Mangoes back on. But I had a few more serious topics tonight, and Mangoes is one of those guys that is really good at doing funny stuff with, but it's kind of hard to get serious with him. So I wanted to really talk about what happened a few hours ago and really break that down, what's been happening. And it's sad. It really is. So for you who don't know what happened in France, in Paris, really, there was a huge terrorist attack, and some people aren't even calling it a terrorist attack yet. In fact, some people are even saying that it was government orchestrated, but it was a terrorist attack. It was led by a group that is one of the attackers, and by the time this goes up, more people will know what happened. One of the attackers said that he was part of ISIS in Syria, and the death toll is confirmed at, I think, 160 now. It's rough. These people slaughtered innocent people, and it's hard to oppose things like the death penalty after seeing what these people can do and not get away with it, but then still stay in a prison for the rest of their lives, getting fed meals and getting all of this stuff while their victims are dead. These people are doing things like this, and there's a steady chain of people that are terrible people, that are convinced that they're freedom fighters, or convinced that they're doing it for the cause of their own religion. And it's really disheartening to see how this is a constant chain of nothing changes. And in a lot of cases, like I've been looking, and it makes me mad seeing things like this. And I know people in this video, just keep in mind, if you're about to write me a comment on YouTube or SoundCloud, whatever, I may disagree with you completely. It's okay to disagree with me. As long as you're being civil about it, we can talk. But people like, I'm not going to call her out by name, but there's a girl that's, that's also kind of belittling her. There's a woman, a PhD, on Twitter that constantly is putting out hate speech against. She's Islamophobic. She's said a lot of things against a lot of minorities. She's a white woman, so she says a lot of things that would be just wrong to say to people. And I mean, she's clearly a conservative Christian that really just doesn't care about other people. And I'm not saying that in either case conservatives or Christians can't care about other people, because that's not true, and because I've met a lot of really amazing people, and that title doesn't define you, but some people it does. It really does. And a few of the things that she's said since then, she's been blaming this on Muslims, and she's been blaming it on how Obama didn't stop ISIS and all this stuff, and how our borders are open and things like that. And it made me want to really talk about, for one thing, the fact that let me open it up here. I made a Facebook post earlier today, after I saw the news. And yeah, I guess that makes me a keyboard warrior. I get it. But in it, I said that everybody needs to keep in mind that America was founded by immigrants, for immigrants. It wasn't designed to house you and your particular ethnocentric views solely. And I used a quote from Emma Lazarus that says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, the tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door." And that quote is on the Statue of Liberty. I believe it's on the inside of it. I don't know for sure. But people want to forget that every country in its sole nature is thriving on immigrants. And we have such a hatred in America right now. And ever since the Syrian, the crisis that's been going on with all of these immigrants trying to flood out of Syria, we've had this huge issue with people just hating immigrants for no reason. And I wanted to break down a few things that we say in America that really gets to me about how immigrants are ruining America. First off, don't want to shock anybody, but we're all immigrants. Like, that's the thing, is even Native Americans that were here to start with, which if you break it down way back in the past, they didn't start here. They started in the Fertile Crescent, and then, Ice Bridge, all that kind of stuff. That's a science and history lesson, or prehistoric science, whatever, that we could get in some other day. But everybody immigrates. Just because there's a lot, I'll put it this way, there's a lot of white people now. And it's not solely white people, but there's a lot of people that are white that want to say now that they pretty much claim America as theirs. They say, this is mine, everybody else can leave, because they don't believe the way I do. I believe in America. I believe that everything here is mine, basically. It's like this is meant to give me what I need when I need it, and everybody else is a freeloader, and everybody else needs to go back to where they came from. And it's sad to have that, like, this divide in what was America, even though we've always had this. Like, look back in the 50s, look back in when a black person went missing or something like that, it was just blown off as, oh, okay, well, sometimes that happens. Or when some guy that happens to be black gets beaten in the streets, then it's by a cop nonetheless. A lot of that kind of stuff happened back in the day. It still happens sometimes, but we just wrote that off as like, he probably deserved it. But it's so bad right now that we're still dealing with these issues, and we haven't come to a general consensus like, this is wrong. We need to treat everybody like they're humans, and we need to treat them like they're our brothers and sisters, and that the color of your skin, where you come from, all of this stuff doesn't change who you are, because we're all like, and it sounds like I'm trying to be a motivational speaker or whatever, but we're all in this together. We got to deal with our problems as a society, as a culture, as humanity together. And we're not. We're dividing up, and we're fighting each other, and we're going to wars, and we have radicals, whether they be, Muslims, or whether they be Christians, or whether they be like, there's so many. You can say Sikhs, you can say I don't know of any, but stuff like Buddhists and, you know, Jewish radicals like to stab people a lot, and that's happened a few times. But we have people that are trying to convince everybody else that they're the group that matters, and that everybody else needs to adhere to them, and needs to give up what they are or die. And we need to realize, as a civilized group of people, and I know in the world there are a lot of places that aren't civilized, and we like to break it down and say, nope, that's the Middle East, that's the only place that's not civilized. But how we treat people should be a role, like we should be a role model to everybody else in the world. We should say, look, we accept you for who you are. We know that our economy and our culture thrives on immigrants, and thrives on the fact that new people are coming in and out every day, and we need people. We, like, for an economy, any economist can obviously and clearly say that the more people you have doing these jobs, especially like low-level jobs, like what a lot of illegal immigrants do, boost up the economy like crazy, so other people that are legal immigrants can get better jobs, or legal citizens, which is what they are at that point. But not only that, let's just talk about legal immigration. With legal immigration, we are making that so difficult for no reason. We're making it so at a certain point people have to just say, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, my family needs to eat. I can't wait 3 years, I can't wait 5 years to get into America just to give my family a better future. And I mean, stuff like, and you can look at someone like Total Biscuit on YouTube. This guy waited years. This guy came to America, and I don't know his story, so I may mix a few of these up, but his wife is American. He had a kid with her. He was not an American citizen. He fought for citizenship for years while his wife and kid were in America, and he was living in the UK with his parents trying to make ends meet and send all of the money that he had back to his wife and kid back in the US. Like, that's not... Why are we making people do this? Because, I mean, the whole terrorism issue that we keep saying that we have, yeah, we have a terrorism issue. The issue is that in every way, and I don't say this lightly, the terrorist won. That's just it. Because now what we do is we deal with the fact that it's hard to immigrate because everybody thinks you're a terrorist. It's hard for it doesn't matter if you're Islamic or not. It's hard for a brown person to go through flight school now because people think you're going to fly a plane into a building. It's hard for stuff like going through, and this is such a first world problem, going through like airport security because there's that one bad person. We've in every way let the terrorist win. And that's sad, even seeing, like, it's weird making a social commentary after what just happened. And what just happened right now, let me check and see if there's been any updates yet. We've had to see that this problem keeps happening over and over and over again. And we're not doing anything about it. These kind of things, all we do is put up red flags and say, see, this is why we can't have immigrants. See, this is why we can't help people. But that's how you get terrorists. That's just it. People hate America because we went into their country and we killed their families And then we tried to justify it and said, see, we helped you guys by, we helped by killing all of those 18 to 35-year-old or 18 to 40-year-old military-aged men. And that was the whole thing that they said in the first place, was when they reclassified militants from military-aged to military-able, then that huge death toll went up to, wow, we killed a lot of innocent people. And I'm sure this is really all over the place for everybody, but this is sad. It's so sad, and it's confirmed over 160 right now. And this is the day before the president. I don't remember his name. Let me see if this article has it. Hollande. This guy was supposed to be going tomorrow to discuss terrorism and how they can stop it. And this happens today. This huge death toll for nothing. To push a political cause. These people were instilling fear. And they were doing it on purpose. They were trying to put fear in people's hearts. And it worked. And it works every time. Because we're afraid. We're afraid of our little bubble getting popped. And when that bubble pops, then we just make it stronger. And we say, see, we got more guns now. We have more. Israel has a giant missile dome that prevents anything, like any rockets or anything, from coming in the area. Is that really what we've come to? Can we not negotiate? Can we not stop this without it getting to this point? Because it's obvious that we've let this sit for too long if people do this to us. It's obvious that this is a catch-22, it's a full, hey, we went over there and killed a bunch of their family. Now they don't like us. Now they're a part of a huge group that hates us. And now we're going to have to deal with them forever. Because they come over to America to kill us. We kill them. Their son that's back there hates us now. So he comes and tries to kill us too. And we don't. What we did in Iraq and Afghanistan, stuff like that, all of those countries over there, we didn't help. Nothing that we did helped. And I would love to say that our eradication of Al-Qaeda helped. But all it did was create ISIS. Because all of Al-Qaeda that was around back then, and all of these kids that have grown up since 2002 when we invaded, are all adults now, and they all hate us. It's sad to see all of these people are coming together in hatred of us. And a lot of it is their religion, but a lot of it is previous actions. Because their religion, and not their religion, I'll put it this way. I'll speak on that in a minute. One of the things that radical Islamists say is to kill infidels. That's just, it's written in their book. It also says things like that in the Bible. If you read the Bible, that's just one of those things that it says. It says a lot about unnecessary killing. And to me, the thing that I want to grasp from this is, if you want to use a religious text to cause harm to other people, then, so the one thing that you should take from a religious text is, if you're actually going to read it, you need to just take it for its examples and its teachings or whatever, if you learn anything from it. But some people take that as a lesson to hate and a lesson to push people away and treat them like they're not human. And this is what happens. Like, I'm not even sure. These guys, whether they were religious or not, they were still extremists. And this is what happens. There's people that are being dragged out in body bags right now, and there's people that are not going to be identified for another 3 or 4 days because some people thought that was the way to prove a point, or the way to get into heaven, or the way to do whatever to push their cause. And I can't justify their actions, and I know that's a really safe stance to say, but it happened, and those people are people we can't get back. And I can guarantee that in that 160, and probably a lot more than that, it's sad to say, but there's probably been a lot more. There's some good people there. I don't know any of them, but I can say that there was some good people out of those 160. And they're gone now. And the main thing that I want people to take from this is that we will always, not as Americans or as whatever, as humans, we have to always rise above this, and we have to always fight back non-militarily. We need to take this as a reason to be peaceful, and a reason to fight in a way that's justifiable, and to fight in a way that is right. I'll put it that way. Fight in a way that's right. And we need to do that as soon as possible, and as much as possible. And this problem will be taken care of. There's always going to be people that think that they're going to push their cause. There's people that will think that they're going to get into heaven by killing people. But we can stop it as much as we can, and we're not doing enough right now. And I say that in the way that we're not doing enough in foreign affairs and stuff, not in we need more defense spending, because that's the last thing that we need right now. We're already putting a ton of our taxes into things that we don't even know how they work. Like, we're spending thousands of dollars on drones that we just found out were worse than toys, that had less functionality than toys. But that's just the start of it, where we need to treat this like it's an actual problem, and then we need to keep thinking about these people that passed away, and we need to do something about what's happened, instead of just letting it go away in a week. Because if we do that, then we'll do it every time. And that's what we've done with every shooting that's happened in America. And surprisingly, we're the only country that will just blow off a just heinous shooting that we should have done something about. And we just say, let's not change anything. Because, the left is trying to get rid of guns. The right is trying to stop anything from changing. And we just say, well, we'll just figure out what's going to happen next time. And we try. And then nothing happens. And then every time it happens again. And it happens more and more often than it did before. So guys, this is going to be a short episode. I'm going to go try and reflect on this a little more. And I'll be back sometime soon with another episode. So this is ArcaneCast episode 2. And I'll see you next time.